things like I can't like everybody like you heard that new Jeezy City. I'm like I don't even want to hear that motherfucker. Like I know the beats is tight, but I'm like there's no like I don't want to listen to Jeezy. I don't want to listen to Plies because like they're not saying no shit that really matters to me at all. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I don't want first of all I don't want to be no thug. So honestly, if you want to be a thug, then listen to that shit that you know. I mean, you shouldn't have no.
You're ruining your life.
But the problem, like you said, the problem with our like society is now. He said perfectly. Niggas in the hood think we sellouts. The three of us three niggas, because we in college. You know what I'm saying? You the sellout because you not making yourself better. You not advancing. Like think about it, we had the civil rights movement because before in the 60s, 50 years ago, even if we wanted to, we didn't have the opportunity. Now niggas have the opportunity, but you don't even want to. Like, but it's cool not to go to school. It's cool not to take advantage of your opportunity.
So people really walk out, like kids really walk out of school because they just don't want to go anywhere. They get annoyed for whatever reason. Maybe sometimes it is the teacher's fault because some teachers is putting them down. You know what I'm saying? So they do feel like maybe they're right, and I really can't see. But these drug dealers is telling me that I can do this and make a whole bunch of money doing this, and I don't need school. And that's what they getting in their ear. You know what I'm saying? And the right ear from these motherfuckers on the streets, they're hearing this, and their left ear from school, they're hearing
cuz you be doing that.
You ain't going to be nothing.
And just like the music my dad listened to growing up, he listens to now. Like we can't do that with our music because y'all niggas out here talking about selling drugs. Like, cause when you 40, 50 years old, you don't even want to sell drugs.
Right.
Like you always wearing no. What the fuck was I doing? Like even T.I. talking about in the new city. T.I. talking about I'm going to jump. T.I. saying now like if I knew, or you heard like if I knew weapon or something, if I knew what I knew now. Like 5 years ago, it's like I wouldn't have been wasting my time talking about out here hustling. I'd have been on Kanye. Like Kanye doesn't talk about something. I'd have been on my Kanye thing. I'd have blew up a long time ago. But I was but I was out here too worried about too hard trying to build my image and trying to be a thug that I was holding myself back.
My first time I saw rap was in Charles Gallery in Harlem, from the 371 and Disco Fever and all the places where it really emerged. I was inspired by it from a cultural standpoint. I mean, it was the whole lifestyle and attitude thing that came from it. Middle class were very upset with it. You know, anybody who had one step out of the ghetto didn't like it very much. Those clubs, you had to wear shoes. Those clubs didn't like rap. There was no support in the music industry. The guy who signed Curtis Blow's Christmas Rap was a British A&R director. He signed it for London. First time he got played on the radio was in Amsterdam. It was something that the black executives at Polygram Records did not like. In fact, even when it started to develop, the first time a video got played, it was MTV, not BET. BET wouldn't play it. Anybody of color who had resources didn't like rap. The authentic expression of what's going on in the minds of the poor people is shocking sometimes, the language they use. They want to act as if we don't talk about it, it doesn't exist. If the struggle of these people doesn't come out through rap, it doesn't come out at all. If they don't say fuck the police, then we'll never have a dialogue between police and community. The violence in our communities that we ignore. Suddenly, it's a big news story because a few rappers expose a mindset that's in our communities that's sad, and I believe that mindset has to come up and bubble up and discuss it and come up with solutions. Having spent my whole life loving and appreciating culture, I see what great contributions it makes. You know, to see the Beastie Boys go on tour with Run DMC early on, what that meant. It really made a difference in this generation. You know, I see the connectedness that's promoted in rap. That the Israeli rapper and the Palestinian rapper and the African rapper and the French rapper, they all speak for, if not from, the position of being locked out. And here they are connected and appreciating each other where they were never before.
The Blacklist.
I remember when I was growing up, when my father was president of the NAACP in New Orleans, at the same time that Medgar Evers was shot in front of his house in Mississippi. So I remember that people would call and make death threats over the telephone. And my father would come home at night, pull into the driveway, turn off the lights, and blow the horn. So my mother could come out to just make sure that there was no one there. My father's career, in many respects, for him to become mayor in 1977 was really the capstone of a career which began in the 50s when he was a lawyer for the NAACP Legal Defense Fund alongside AP Turo and Thurgood Marshall and all of the others, Connie Motley. He became the first African-American elected to the state legislature in Louisiana since Reconstruction, first African-American judge. His career was symbolic of the change that was taking place in the South, taking place in Louisiana, and taking place in New Orleans. Katrina is an American tragedy. There were times when the aftermath was taking place and I asked myself, is this a city I know and love? It's as though certain people after the hurricane cheered that a lot of African Americans were displaced. You know, the cocktail commentary was good. These folks are gone. We will rebuild the city without them. I don't understand it. One of my sisters completely lost her house. What the jury's still out on is the question of why there were 4 or 5 levee breaks in the days following Katrina. For New Orleans to move forward, it cannot be a house divided, it has to be a house unified.
It was 2 completely different worlds, working at MCA Records and also going to Howard University. You know, there were a lot of people that were saying that I was crazy. You know, I would walk around with my briefcase and say that I was going to be the next Berry Gordy and I was going to be a music manager and I'm going to be a mogul one day. You know, if you was coming up in you know, the late 80s during the time of crack, you was either going to be on crack or be in jail or, you know, die. You know, I think you had to be a little crazy to really make it out of that time. I first met Biggie in early 1993. I was looking for someone to kind of rival LL Cool J, like a sex symbol type. And so I had called around and I had asked if anybody knew of any new talent, and they told me about this guy named Biggie Smalls from Brooklyn. I was like really looking for a cliche, curly hair, light-skinned cat, you know. And you know, Biggie was blacker than ever. To be honest, I haven't signed any light-skinned guys. The thing that really shocked people was when Biggie admitted that, you know, being young and black and living in America makes you feel like you want to kill yourself. Hip-hop was a forgotten generation. The music programs were cut. We didn't know how to make any music. So we started putting on records and just looping the instrumental beats. We just created our own world. I think it was a way also to not really get mad, you know? We always use like the finest brands to associate ourselves with. That's why we talked about Bentleys and yachts and Cristal. But we were having an effect on these brands' bottom line, whether it was Cavassier or Cristal or Timberland or Nike. But you know, we weren't getting paid for it. A lot of these huge companies just started slapping us in the face, whether it was Cristal saying they didn't want black people drinking their stuff, or you know, Timberland saying that they don't make boots for black people. And so we just started making our own boots. I was walking down Times Square and they had just put up a new billboard of myself. This is the home of the Marlboro Man, you know, you got that redneck white Marlboro Man. And then, you know, then now you got this young black guy and he has the biggest billboard in Times Square and it's like 50 stories high, and they know the whole world's gonna have to come to New York and see this message of black power, you know, with my fist in the air. And I didn't realize it was gonna be that big, so when they had put it up, I just stood up and looked up at myself for like 3 hours. It wasn't an ego thing. It was like now maybe people are finally get, you know what I'm about. I'd rather show kids that than to constantly see the cutaways of television of us just living in the projects. You know, my whole life, you know, I just wanted to be somebody.